Hello, BookTube. What's a small mail haul today, both in terms of mail and in terms of mail? The actual mail is small, 3 items. The top one is the TLS, the Great Times Literary Supplement, the best, most revered literary journal of them all. Uh, that I like to flip through it when I get a new issue to see if anybody's reviewing something that I maybe want to review or have passed on reviewing or have reviewed. The best of all, have reviewed. Uh, the first thing is a roundup of books about the digital world. Uh, then a memoir, the always feisty letter page. Uh, Fiction thing on Gabrielle Tallent's My Absolute Darling and Fiona Mosley's Elmet. Uh, Paired together. J. Robert Lennon's Broken River gets a review. Oh, a whole page review of A Legacy of Spies by John Le Carre, which I reviewed for the Christian Science Monitor, and it felt just fantastic to be part of what is going to be a widespread conversation. That it felt just fantastic. This is by Robert Potts, and they give it a whole page. That is great. That is great. Uh, I know some critics who, especially fiction critics, who get a little antsy when they read reviews by other people, books that they themselves reviewed. I don't understand that at all. Then I'm not the antsy type, maybe. Uh, then we've got more fiction reviews. Good lord. Jonathan Dee's The Locals, the new Salman Rushdie. Yikes. Okay. Then a theater review on. Oh no, it's not. It's history. I thought it was a theater review because there's a picture of the great Eileen Atkins in The Witch of Edmonton. But no, there's a bunch of stuff about witchcraft. Well, that'll be interesting. That'll be fun. Oh, and then somebody did. There was a reissue. I think I showed it on this channel. The Voynich manuscript. This mysterious, incomprehensible thing. This bookish thing that no one's ever been able to make any sense out of. Uh, and yet, wow, yet another page on the manuscript. Someone trying to decode it. Oh, a long memorial on John Stark. Oh, that'll be tough to read. I'm about ready to hork onto my TLS. It'll make it hard to read. 2 pages. 2 page spread on American movies. One on something called Detroit, the other on something called Lucky Logan. 2 whole pages on movies. The TLS. Oh, as if there weren't books to review. Oceans of them, mountains of them. These had better be good. That's all I have to say on the subject. Good lord. Okay, then we've got a whole page on new children's literature. That should be fun. Uh, Decolonialization, the Enlightenment, the Frankfurt School. This is good. It's actually turning out to be the Anglican Enlightenment. This is turning out to be a lot of stuff that I have not read or reviewed. That's always wonderful. I get a lot of good book recommendations from the TLS. I'm just that way. Uh, and then these short reviews in the back. Uh, Absolutely nothing that is big that I think I missed. And then a whole page. Ah, God bless the TLS. A whole page on something called verse libel in Renaissance England and Scotland. Okay. Whatever you say. Okay, good, great. And then we have the American Scholar, which is just usually a bunch of more or less thought provoking stuff, and then a middle sort of sandwich filler of poetry that I've never really liked. But then we have book reviews, and they do quite a few of them. So I always like to see what they're doing, because that's part of the conversation as well. Let's see here. So Ann Beattie writing on the new Library of America 2-volume box set, short stories of Pete Taylor. That's great. Always fun to read, and he's always fun to read about. Oh, it's nice and long too. Good lord. See, that's the sort of thing where I will read it, I will underline it and whatnot. Then I will pull it out of this magazine, fold it, and put it in my own box set so that I know exactly where to find it. Oh, and then a review of Ghosts of the Tsunami. It's on my shelf to reread. A review of Greater Gotham by Mike Wallace, a new book, his follow up to his book Gotham about the history of New York. Uh, Meetings with Remarkable Manuscripts from the Penguin Press. I didn't know what to make of that. Oh, oh, fantastic! A review of Nate Blakeslee's American Wolf, a book that's coming out that is so good. Oh, I cannot recommend it highly enough. I don't know why they're reviewing it so early. I don't think it's out yet, but one way or another, I will certainly write about it myself. I don't know where, but oh, if the subject interests you, American Wolf. Oh, what a book! uh, Oh, and Sarah Rudin, the great translator, reviews Stephen Greenblatt's The Rise and Fall of Adam and Eve. Great. And Mark Edmondson, who I've praised on this channel before, does a review of Frederick Cruz's new biography of Sigmund Freud, which has now been reviewed pretty much everywhere. Wow. All right. Okay, very good. There's a lot of, and then the last magazine is Architectural Digest, which I subscribe to because it never goes to Trump Tower. So, but that's the mail, and then we'll do the mail. So the first one is Garbed in Black. Could this be? Usually these rubbery things have something interesting in them. Let's see what this is. Oh goodness, it's an Olive book. Oh my. This is called The Reformer: How One Liberal Fought to Preempt the Russian Revolution. There he is. Look at that face. Good Lord. This is Vasily Maklakov. Maklakov, a lawyer, legislator, and public intellectual, was among the most prominent moderates to seek reform in the 1917 Russian political landscape. Besides absolutists on the right, the Tsar and his adherents, and the left, Lenin and his Bolsheviks, moderates sought liberal reform and a rapid evolution towards a constitutional monarchy. Although never a cabinet member or a head of his political party, the Constitutional Democrats or Cadets, Maklakov was deeply involved in most of the political events of the period and was the most articulate and sophisticated advocate of the rule of law, the linchpin of liberalism. This book tells the story of his efforts and his analysis of the reasons for their ultimate failure. So he survived. He survived his own failure. That's rare in the period. Wow. Okay, so what is this? This is by Stephen Williams, who graduated from Harvard Law School in 1961 and has practiced law ever since. He was appointed to the U.S. Court of Appeals for D.C. Circuit by President Reagan in 1986. And this thing comes out in October. But now I want to know everything about this. Is this the first Maklakov biography to appear in English ever? What? Oh, it's got lots and lots of notes. Oh, this is going to be fascinating. I might have to read this before I send it winging on its way to our resident Russian expert. And then we've got one of these big white things. Let's see what this is. 2-page spread on American movies in the TLS. I want to be reading about Adam Smith in the TLS, not Adam Driver. Let's just see what we have here. Oh, very nice. Okay. This is the finished copy due in early October by Will Thomas of Old Scores. This is a Barker and Llewellyn novel. Opens in London in 1890 as the first Japanese diplomatic delegation arrives in England to open an embassy. Cyrus Barker, a private inquiry agent and occasional agent for the Foreign Service Office, is enlisted to display his personal Japanese garden to the visiting dignitaries. Later that night, Ambassador Toda is shot and killed in his office, and Cyrus Barker is discovered across the seat watching the very same office, in possession of a revolver with one spent cartridge. A sure sign in murder mystery novels that he is innocent. Arrested by the special branch for the crime, Barker is vigorously interrogated and finally released due to the intervention of his assistant, Thomas Llewellyn, and his solicitor. With the London constabulary still convinced of his guilt, Barker is hired by the new Japanese ambassador to find the real murderer. Very nice. I don't think I reviewed the last one of these. I read it and enjoyed it, but I don't think I ever wrote about it. That must never happen. I must reform that slowly but surely. I don't think I'll reform it completely in 2017, but in 2018, I mean to do much better. I mean to weigh in on everything. But anyway, in the meantime, we'll do this last one here. This is stuff stuck to it all over, but that's all right. What is this? Oh. Oh my. Oh goodness. Oh, this isn't a bad haul at all. Oh. This is Black Lizard Vintage Books. This is another big book. This is the big book of the Continental Op. Look at that. Dashiell Hammett right there on the cover. That's what it's going to look like. I hope they have the sense to make the finished copy black and white with sort of mist. That would be really nice. Oh, wow. I love these big books. I just love them. They are endless amounts of fun. So this comes out in late November. Since making his debut in Black Mask magazine in 1923, Dashiell Hammett's iconic detective, the Continental Op, would forever define the face of detective fiction in our literary and popular culture. Really? You think so, do you? Would forever define the face of detective fiction in our literary and popular culture. So, by R, I assume the publicist writing this means America. If the publicist means R in terms of just the general reading public, go and ask somebody. If they ask them who defines what is it again here? Who is the face of detective fiction in our literary and popular culture? Go ahead and ask somebody who that is. See if they say the Continental Op. If they do, I'll give you a Susan B. Anthony dollar right on the spot. But even if we restrict it to America, it would be disastrous to do because Americans don't read. Aside from the subscribers to this channel, no American reads. But if, let's say, America did, and you went up to a literate American and said, okay, to tell me the face of detective fiction in our literary and popular culture that's American, what would they say? They would not say the Continental Op. It wouldn't even be on the top 100. Maybe the first name would be Jessica Fletcher. The Hardy Boys, maybe. Anyway, let's move on. The Op is a tough, wry, unglamorous gumshoe. Isn't he not only unglamorous, but fat? Don't I remember the Continental Op being small and fat? Round and balding. I seem to remember that. Maybe I've got him mixed up with somebody else. A type that we associate with the modern hard-boiled detective story. But see, that's just it. I don't remember the Continental Op being hard-boiled. I remember him being soft-boiled. Let's see. Of which Dashiell Hammett is the father and pioneer. For the first time, just in case you were wondering, that was the first sentence of the pub sheet, and I interrupted it 3 times. That's something of a record for this channel. For the first time, all of Hammett's Continental Op stories and novels will be collected in one volume, the big book of the Continental Op. Oh, no wonder. Okay, no wonder. I wondered why his name was on it, when of course he didn't edit it. He's as the wag said about Johann Sebastian Bach, he's not so much composing anymore these days as he is decomposing. But that's why, because this is all the Continental Op books all in one place. That is incredible. The Continental Op narrates the first of 28 stories and 2 novels that would change forever the detective fiction genre. Will you stop saying that? No one can name the Continental Op. No one knows anything about him. Since his first appearance 92 years ago, the character has maintained a global following, published in periodicals, paperback digests, and short story collections. This collection features all 28 of the original standalone Continental Op stories, as well as the original serialized version of The Red Harvest and The Dane Curse, which have been virtually impossible to find until now. That's what I love about these Black Lizard books, is that they aren't just great anthologies. They actually are amazing starting points. They're amazing places on their own, editorially speaking. They do this all the time. It's never just the usual suspects, which I love. Also included is previously unpublished material, including an unfinished story that Hammett's archive published for the first time in this volume. Lastly, this collection could not have 2 more fitting and appropriate editors. Julie M. Rivet is the granddaughter of Dashiell Hammett, and Richard Lehman is Hammett's bibliographer and the executor of his estate. Both are available for interviews. Those might be interesting interviews to do. Wow. Okay. So this is all of the Continental Op stuff by Dashiell Hammett in one place. That's incredible. That's amazing. And I've got plenty of time to prepare for it too, because it doesn't come out until uh, late November. You know, part of the reason there's been no lately. There's been no big Continental Op movie. Wouldn't it be great, a movie? Since movies are commanding the TLS, we might as well. Wouldn't it be great if there was a movie just called The Continental Op? That'd be awesome. And it'd be great if it was cast in the way that I seem to remember the Continental Op being, which is a little guy, an unobtrusive guy, someone you wouldn't think of as a Continental Op, and that's the reason for his success. Unless I'm remembering him completely wrong, I seem to remember him as being sort of the anti-Bond. And wouldn't it be great if Hollywood cast him that way? Oh, that would be awesome. Imagine Paul Giamatti as the Continental Op, and you believe him completely, but without any. We don't send him to Slurpee school, or we don't restrict him to a diet of kale. Instead, he's allowed to just be himself, and he's the guy you miss in the crowd. He's the person you don't suspect in the sleeper car. That would be awesome. But anyway, so we have the big book of the Continental Op. Probably the last time in my life that I'm ever going to receive a book in the mail edited by Dashiell Hammett. Then Old Scores, Victorian Murder Mystery, and then the Reformer, about a voice of reason during the Russian Revolution, and then my periodicals, which I will consume tomorrow. And that's it. That's the rather skimpy little mail haul today, but I'll be back soon. Thank you, BookTube.